Hi, welcome. Today we're here with Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for
Hi.
joining us. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Sara Gaston, and I've been a professional actor for years. And I've worked in all aspects of the business, stage, film, television, commercials. And I don't know, about 2 years ago, I got an idea that kind of got a hold of me, and now I'm a director. So, yeah,
All right. Well, at least you knew what you're doing. All
yeah.
right. So my next question is, what made you want to be a filmmaker?
Well, I never wanted to be a filmmaker. I've done enough guerrilla filmmaking as an actor, producer, ad hoc makeup artist, all the things that I saw the work that went into being a filmmaker. And so that I just said, nope, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to do my part, get my check, go home. Um, but I got this idea and for this film, and it just wouldn't go away. And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, I'm writing grants and lining up cast, and storyboards are coming to my mind. And I was in it. I didn't ask for it. I was taken. So here I am.
I mean, it sounds like it wasn't too bad of a place to be. But anyway, so my next question is, how long have you been doing this? And how many films have you made? But I guess we'll do that. We'll ask that question for your acting, for your overall time in the industry.
Okay. So I've been acting since I was 14. And I was primarily a theater actress. Did theater all through high school, college, majored in theater in college. And then I guess around 1998, um, I couldn't tell you what changed. I went to go see a mentor, and they said, you should go talk to so and so at this agency. And it was Ruth Ann Black at the Sherry Young Mad Hatter agency in Houston, Texas. And I had a meeting with this agent, and I just said, look, I just want to act. And she was like, thank you. Everyone else comes in here, they want to be a movie star, they want to be this, they want to be this. And I said, no, I just want to act. I just want opportunities to act. So they signed me, and they've since retired. I'm now with a different agency, and I have agencies in different markets all over the country. And so I'm sure I terrified people, because I would go into these film auditions with my theatrical training. And, the camera's here, and I'm like trying to reach the back row. And, but, I hit it hard and started going to on camera classes and kind of transitioning how I approached the craft. It's still acting, but, you make different adjustments for a film. And so that's it. I have a real healthy background in film, even before I became a filmmaker, because I had been in front of the camera and I kind of saw how all the puppetry worked.
And so when you decided to make the transition from actress to filmmaker, what was that like? What would your family and friends say? Oh, just stick with acting? Or were they like, yeah, go for it? Or how did that go
Um,
work out?
well, yeah, luckily I had been pretty tenacious as an actor, and I've had some fair bit of success in my market, and so yeah, nobody said give it up. Actually, most people said, I've been waiting for this. And, of course, you're a director. You've always been a director. You just didn't know it. So I think everyone else saw it for me before I saw it for myself. And I had luckily, I had relationships with filmmakers and DPs and, crew. And I think I had maybe banked up enough goodwill in the industry as an actor, by being professional, by being supportive, by being good at my job, that when I needed help, I was pretty much able to cherry pick. And so I've been incredibly fortunate and smart enough to know that I needed to hire people who knew how to do things I didn't know how to do.
Mhm. Yes, that's important.
Yeah.
All right. So So
Yep.
the next question is, do you have a tribe? Do you have your tribe, your support group, your
Oh,
go-to folks?
yes. Yes.
So,
I have a huge tribe. And again, a lot of that was sort of generated as an actor. But what's been great is that once I sort of made this pivot, I'm still acting, but I've definitely gotten bitten by the directing bug. I just started to find all these female filmmakers. So I had, and I love male filmmakers. That's not it. I have plenty of male filmmaker friends, but I found a lot of female filmmaker friends to sort of bounce ideas off of and just ask all the newbie questions I wanted to ask. And yeah, I've been so fortunate. I've been so fortunate. And it's interesting too, because people treat me with a different level of respect now. Before, when I was just an actor, it was like, oh, hi, Sara, nice to see you. Yeah. And now, I have
like,
colorists
ooh.
and editors and composers like, Sara, I'd really like to work with you on your next project. And I'm like, okay, I'll keep your number. So it's kind of fun being the puppet master for once.
Yeah, okay. So what made you decide to make this film?
Yeah, I was driving to Colorado to work on a book on acting. And my brother has a little cabin up there, and I was like, I'm going to take 3 weeks, and I'm going to get this book ready. And that book is still not published because I took a sharp detour. I don't know. I was driving and I'd been thinking a lot about Me Too, the Me Too movement. And I started reflecting a lot on all the incidents that had happened to me that I either made my fault, or I was responsible, or I shouldn't be upset, or I was wrong for speaking up. And I thought, a lifetime of that has a cost. And that's since been borne out in other conversations I've had with other women. And in particular, it's addressed in the movie She Said, which is about the Harvey Weinstein scandal. And I thought about an incident that happened to somebody close to me, where she was lured by a boy in our neighborhood who we were forbidden to go into this family's house. My mom had a funny feeling that this family was bad news, and this person was lured into the house by one of the boys, an older boy, and then he wouldn't let her leave. Excuse me. And luckily nothing happened, but I started to think, wow, if something had happened, something serious. I say nothing happened. Yes, something happened. She was manipulated by a boy and told she couldn't leave. Yeah,
Right.
that's a big
That
deal,
that that
right?
happened, yes.
Yeah, that did happen. But that's the thing. We say nothing happened, and she'll say to this day, "Oh, nothing happened." But the thing about it is, something did happen. Her agency was taken away, and I thought, wow, if that had gone further, she would be a different person. Her
Mhm.
life would be totally different. She may not have the family she has. She may not have the children she had. She may not have the life that she has. Um, and I think too, our society looks at that. Nothing happened, and it's dismissed. And the person who does that sort of thing probably doesn't think about it. It's probably just careless, just a little bit of fun, but there's a cost. And that idea just wouldn't let me go.
What was the hardest part of making this movie, and what was the most fun part of making this movie?
It was actually really a fairly seamless experience. I would say the hardest part was sitting on my hands during post, waiting for everyone to get their job done, because uh, like a colleague says, nobody is ever going to care as much about your film as you do.
Right.
So I'm like, come on, guys, like, let's get this stuff done. And they're like, oh, there's a leak in my roof and I've got to take care of that. And I'm like, no, you don't. You need to finish working on the sound for my film. You know what I mean? So that was hard. That was hard. That was hard waiting for everyone. And then the easiest part and the most fun part was just the actual shoot. Because like I said, it kind of really happened so seamlessly and flawlessly. And
How'd you pull that off? I, I've
I
never had a
hired,
flawless
I
shoot. Anyway,
yeah, I hired really good people that I already had a relationship with for the most part. The only thing that was weird that was hinky, and I just find this so ironic, is one of the crew members who had been a hire uh, from my DP. My DP wanted to bring his own crew, and one of the guys was sexually inappropriate with me. And it was shocking to me given the nature
of your
of
relationship.
the relationship. First of all, yeah, I'm like your boss, right? I'm writing your paycheck, and of the nature of like the point of the film.
Yes.
And what was shocking to me too is I did the same thing I've always done, which is I clammed up and didn't know how to deal with it and tried to make a joke of it. And then later it stuck with me. And I was like, no, that wasn't okay. But at the time, I was just so taken aback. And it reinforced to me this sort of conditioning that so many women have, that we can't talk about it. We can't bring it up. We can't cause a fuss, and the stakes were high. I wanted to get the film done. I didn't want to stop filming to deal with it, but it stuck with me, and I was like, how dare you? What is your actual problem? So
So this is a generic question, which
yeah.
don't have that many films, but are you the type of filmmaker that you finish your project and that baby's gone and it's out there, and if you see any flaws, you sit there and go, okay, next time I won't make that flaw? Or are you the type of filmmaker that sits there and the baby's out the door, but you sit there and go, I'm going to someday get enough money and fix that movie?
Yeah,
What are you?
no, I'm the first. And it was interesting even during post. I had a male, post production team, and they would want to add stuff, or they'd want to do stuff, and they'd be like, well, I just think it's really going to make it more. It's going to be more. It's going to be this. And I said, no, no, take that out. No, don't do that. No. And I was just, I mean, my commitment then and my commitment now is I'll die on that sword. I made the movie I wanted to make the way I made it. And I'm not open to feedback at this point because it's done. So if anyone wants to go, well, you know what, you really should have, no, that window is closed. So
All right, well, that's good. I unfortunately am a little bit of both. I have a couple movies out there which I keep saying that's actually good, but I want to go back and fix it. I never do, but I still say that. All right, so the next question is, in the indie world, we all know that we're not going to be like Taylor Smith flying our private jet from Asia to make it back for a football game. So what does success look like in the indie film world to you? What does it look and smell like and taste like?
oh, that's such a great question. Um, so in general, if the work that I do affects somebody, if it's funny and it makes them laugh, if it has a message and it gets them to think, if it's meant to be heartbreaking and they cry, I've done my job, right?
Mhm.
That's all I want to do is I mean, because I come from a theater background, theater traditionally was like to offer a group catharsis to a community, right? And so this idea that you tell this story either as a performer or as a filmmaker, and for that time period it makes a difference, it affects somebody in some way. Either they're like, oh, thank goodness somebody understands, somebody's been there, or it just makes them chuckle, they're having a bad day and it makes them laugh. um, you've made a difference for somebody, right? So just in general, that's kind of how I define success. Particularly with this film, to have people um, just get it and get the point. In particular, the men that have watched it have been have said to me, I felt so uncomfortable. I felt so uncomfortable the entire time. I just had this sense of dread. And I want them to feel that. I mean, I want everyone to feel that, because that's what's happened to this girl. That's just what's happened to millions of girls, right? And so as long as it takes them along for that ride, that to me, like, the film has done its job.
Okay, great. All right, now this is my last question. So my
Okay.
comes along and goes, "Hi, Aunt Sarah. I'm going to be a filmmaker just like you." What,
Okay.
what what would be that conversation? What would you say? What would be your advice?
I would say um, you have to do it because you love it,
Hmm.
not because you want to be famous or rich. And I would say start out by helping on a film. Like, you have to see the machinations of how it works. You have to see, and you have to see if you have the temperament. Everyone thinks they want to do this until they realize how boring, how tedious, how hard, how et cetera, et cetera, et cetera it can be. And so I would say, go be a PA, go do crafty, go, be a makeup artist's assistant on a film, and just get an idea of how all the moving parts work. And then just see if it's really for you.
Okay. All right, great. Like I said, that was my last question. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Um,
you.